Hey, I'm Michael. This is the Defiant from Council of Vapor. Welcome to the Ohm Age. Okay, so let's go ahead and take an up-close look at the Defiant by the Council of Vapor. It's going to come in this very thin plastic display case with tamper-evident stickers, top and bottom. On the bottom you're going to see is 0.5 ohm and only comes in black. We're also going to see a huge Council of Vapor logo on the back section, and where we take the inner box out, we're going to see our Council of Vapor Defiant sub-ohm tank, and we get a few extras. We get a replacement glass section, and we get some replacement O-rings as well. We will also get two ceramic coil heads, both 0.5 ohms. One's pre-installed, the other is in the box. And whenever we go to the very back, we're going to get a quick start guide. Has a QR code to verify that it's authentic, and a little bit of literature for you to read over. Next, we have a warning saying that anytime that you replace the coil head, before you first fire that coil, make sure that you fill the juice and let it sit for about 2 minutes. That gives it enough time for the juice to reach the inside of the coil and soak up into that ceramic. Next, we have a little Council of Vapor card, and visit us on Facebook with another QR. We'll go ahead and remove the tank now. Take a look at this Addy. And there it is. This is the Defiant by Council of Vapor. Has a really nice matte black finish on it. 4 very large air holes. You can see straight through there. On the base, we have a Council of Vapor permanent etch in the bottom and a silver-plated 510 pin. Now, that silver-plated 510 does not protrude at all. I would not recommend putting on this on any kind of hybrid mod. Now, the top cap is kind of their proprietary design. This is something that they've been doing for quite a while. It has this anti-spitback filter in it, and this is the one that they did on the Royal Hunter as well. There's really no way to get that out, so love it or hate it, it's along for the ride. You're not going to want to drill that out at all because you're going to wind up damaging this beyond repair. So I suggest leaving that in. We have O-ring seal around the drip tip, so whenever this is on, you can hold this upside down to remove your coil. Now, the fill method is top fill. We have 4 very, very large fill holes, so no pooling issues whatsoever. This kind of sits at an angle too, so that way you can just kind of rip into the chamber there, and it's all going to drain right into the holes. No problems at all with the fill. I'm going to screw this back on, and I'm going to show you that whenever you have juice in here and maybe you have to make an emergency change with your coil head, maybe you've burned it out or it's just not vaping the same anymore, you can go ahead and just flip it upside down like so and unscrew the base to get to your coil head. As long as you're below this mark, you're fine. So on to the coil head itself. Like I said, it is a 0.5 ohm coil head. It's ceramic with a cotton wrap. Has good O-rings top and bottom, and then the large one at the very base. So no leaking issues at all from the coil head. Nice large seal at the bottom. And the tank section is held on by 2 very, very solid O-rings at the top. Chimney section's all one piece. It doesn't come apart from the fill section. It's all milled together. So this is about as far as you're going to take it to clean it. Now, on the tank section, I'm going to wipe this off. I have juice all over my hands. I'm sorry, guys. So I'm going to wipe this down a little bit, but I want you to pay attention to that right there. You see that red mark? That's from the O-rings. And these are very, very solid, very hard O-rings, but it's leaving this red residue on the tank section. So that's definitely something to be aware of and something to note. Now, to put this back together, you're going to take your glass, pop it back onto those O-rings, and just screw it back together. And now you're ready to go. You're ready to vape. I'm just going to unscrew this drip tip. And I want to also point out that this drip tip has these holes around it. They're not actually holes. That's just for design. It's just a little design on it. I thought it was top airflow, but it isn't. Also, the inside here is a pressure fit for that honeycomb spitback protection. So let me go ahead and grab some juice here. And all you're going to do to fill this tank up, just hold it over the holes there and just start to fill. And that's all it is to it. You do not have to take your time filling this. With the 4 air holes, it's going to force all that excess air straight up out of the tank. So no reason to take your time filling. Also, I do not recommend putting any drops down the center. If you put drops down the center there to wet the coil, it's just going to wind up flooding it out. You don't need to do it. Just like the card said, let it sit like this for about 2 minutes before you fire it the first time, and you'll be fine. That way it gives the juice enough time to reach the coil head, and the coil head enough time to soak it up. And that's all there is to it, guys. Let's go back up top. We're going to vape on this, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Oh, one other thing. This is 47 millimeters tall, 22 millimeters in diameter, and holds 3.1 mils of juice. So that's all the specs I've got on this, guys. Let's go up top and vape. All right, so that was the up close and personal with the Defiant by Council of Vapor, and I'm guessing that you're sticking around to see what I think about it, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. So, $24.99 at vapordna.com. I'm sure other places may sell Council of Vapor gear, but that's where this one was purchased from, so that's where I'm going to say it. The pros and cons. Let's start off with the pros, because I always like to end with a negative thought. Anyway, let's just go with the pros first. I do like the form factor here. I like the size. I do like the size of this atomizer. 47 millimeters tall with a 3 mil juice capacity is good. I'm gonna list it as a pro. That's really good. And I'll tell you why. This is the Heracles version 2, and it is taller with the supplied drip tip. I mean, it's taller without the drip tip, and this only holds 2 mils. The airflow here is, in my opinion, better. So this is a pro. This is all pro. Now, 3 mil juice capacity is not going to last me all day. In fact, it's only going to last me about 45 minutes to an hour on chain vaping this, like I do whenever I'm testing, whenever I'm doing these reviews. I tend to vape a whole lot. So 3 mil is not going to last me all day long. Even if I'm not chain vaping, it's still not going to last me all day long. But I am going to sacrifice the juice capacity for the size, because I'm just not going to find a tank that's going to last me all day long that I'm comfortable with vaping on. Because, I mean, something like this, I don't want to carry something like this around. And this is with no drip tip on. With a drip tip on, it's way larger. So, I'm going to sacrifice and say that it's a pro. 3 mil juice capacity, definitely a pro. I like the coloration. I do like the black finish on here. It's a nice matte black. I like the O-rings. The red really just stand out on against the black. All pros. Now the drip tip. Drip tip I'm going to list as a pro. I know a lot of people don't like this style drip tip, but this one works. It works as advertised. So it doesn't collect juice like a lot of other ones with this anti-spit back design do. This one works. It works out well. I like the top flow or the top fill juice well. I mean, works for me. The fact that I can turn this over and remove the bottom section with leaving my juice in there so I can change out the coil head is a pro. I do like that. And my last pro is going to be the ceramic coil. Now, the ceramic coil in this is both a pro and a con, but let's go with the pro first. The flavor that you get off of this, fantastic. I mean, it is stand apart from most sub-ohm tanks in general. I mean, the Heracles has got really great flavor. It doesn't come close to this. So does something like the Goblin, which is a rebuildable. This one still blows it out of the water. I would say even the Goblin Mini doesn't come close to this. And the Goblin Mini is known for flavor. This has flavor like a dripper. This has flavor like the Kennedy, as a matter of fact. Now, 0.5 ohms, I'm used to vaping a lot lower than that. And this ohms out at 0.49, so really close to 5 ohms exactly. But I'm not completely sold on it. It does use a lot of juice, okay? Most of your ceramic coils are going to use a lot more juice than a Kanthal coil, just because you're soaking up so much juice because the heat that is created from the ceramic, it is, how do I put it? It's efficient. It's a very efficient method of heating. And being that it's a very efficient method of heating, it's going to suck in more of this juice. It's going to load the juice up into the cotton, and it's also going to start soaking in to the ceramic. But at the same time, I'm not going to get a dry hit. I'm not going to get a flooded hit. This thing can be almost completely empty, and I'm still vaping on it at the same wattage without the worry of getting a dry hit, just because there's so much juice loaded in there. So it's a pro and a con. It's going to use a lot of juice. The other con for the coil head is it's hard to find. And Council of Vapor is not very forthcoming with what coil they use, what is supplied with this kit. Now, the coil head in here is basic Council of Vapor coil head. You're going to be able to use the same one that is in the Phoenix. You're going to be able to use the same one that's in most of their other atomizers. No problem. But I do wish that they would come up with a marketing strategy saying that the coil head, is this, instead of you having to actually do a whole lot of research trying to find it, because we researched for a while, and even on their website never mentions the coil head or the coil head style. So on to the cons. The major con here, guys, are these O-rings. Now, these are very, very good O-rings. They're very stiff. They hold this glass section on perfectly. However, this thing gets very hot, extremely hot. So hot as if you're chain vaping and your lips touch down here on the ring just below the drip tip, or sometimes even high up on the drip tip. It is hot, man. It will burn you almost. And these O-rings just do not handle the heat like they should. I think that was an oversight. I think they should have went with, a more heat resistant O-ring. That's why you see that red ring on the Pyrex is actually heating these O-rings up so much that it's leaving O-ring behind on the glass. That is totally a con. I'm not real sure. It's not a safety issue, I wouldn't think, because there's nothing, actually it's not getting hot enough to vaporize or cause a gassing issue from the material. but it's definitely a con in my book. And really, that's the only major con that I have. Is really the only major con that I can come up with for this atomizer. The airflow on this is excellent. I like it wide open. I don't like the constricted, turning it down to almost closed airflow. I do think that they should have had a way to close off some of this juice control, but I understand with the ceramic coil heads, you really don't want to close it off too much. But that is a whole lot of juice going through here. That's really all I've got. Do I like it enough to buy it again? Yeah, I'll buy it again. Absolutely. If this thing was gone today and I was really needing another atomizer, I'm totally picking this up. So there's your answer, I guess. Go buy it. I really do like it. As far as advocacy for this video, I do want to say that I see a trend happening in some of the vape shops. All right. I know everybody, we all have good intentions, right? Whenever we're seeing a new vapor walk in the store and they don't know what to buy, and we all want to help them, and we flood them with all sorts of information and sub-ohm tanks and coil heads and coil types and material. We kind of overdo it, and I've been guilty of it too. I'll go ahead and throw it out there. Let the people at the store walk them through, okay? And the people at the store, make sure you're setting them up with the right device. Give them something simple. Something like this setup, probably not quite as simple as what they need. They need something that is an all-in-one setup, or something that has a real tight mouth to lung inhale, because they're coming off of cigarettes. So let's try to tone it down a little bit. I think good intentions can still have negative results. We don't want to turn anybody off to vaping because we make it overcomplicated for them. Let them find this stuff on their own. Let them have their journey. We've had our journey to this. Let them make their own journey into the more advanced things. So that's what I have today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything. Absolutely shout it out to me, and I'll make sure that I don't miss it again. Till next time, remember, you are the Ohm Age. Peace.